post-pandemic, we all have witnessed surge in technological adoptions by providers and beneficiaries. Will it sustain, surge, or sink? How do we bring in user trust in tech companies? Let's hear from our panel of session 6 on digital adoption in clinical care. Chairing the session, I have Air Marshal Dr. Pavan Kapoor. Sir is a former DGMS, Indian Air Force. He's an accomplished hospital administrator of national and international repute, one of the founder members of NABH and also member of ISQA, also international assessor for them. Has published more than 40 scientific publications. For his distinguished services, Air Marshal Dr. Pavan Kapoor was awarded the Ati Vishisht Seva Medal in 2018 and many more recognitions. Sir has joined Lincoln American University as the Vice Chancellor. As a CAHO patron and otherwise, Sir is a guide, teacher, and a source of inspiration for all of us. Welcome. I now invite our today's speaker, Dr. Vishal Rao, Group Director, Head Neck Surgery, Oncology and Robotic Surgery, Dean Research and Academics, Healthcare Global Cancer Center, Bangalore. A TEDx speaker, more than 18 patents to his credit, more than 100 publications, recipient of the prestigious Judy Wilkenfeld Award and many more. Conferred the honorary FRCS, consultative group to principal scientific advisor to PM, and many more such recognitions. I now request the chair to initiate the session.
Thank you, Bhavisha, and greetings to all of you. I take this opportunity to thank the CAHO Tech and CAHO for giving me this privilege of chairing this very, very important session, because we have gone through a plethora of presentations which I've been attending since the afternoon, and almost no aspect of healthcare has been left untouched. So my compliments to CAHO Tech and to the leadership for having arranged such a beautiful combination of inputs on digital technology. Now, we all know that earlier on, not too long before, there was a lot of resistance amongst healthcare providers for adopting and adapting digital technology. Resistance was due to many reasons, due to the cost, due to the lack of knowledge, due to apprehensions, due to applications, due to lack of legislations, due to loss of privacy. There were so many barriers. So that was the reaction to digital technology. Then suddenly COVID came, and that resistance to technology became a reaction to response to COVID. And what happened was, in the last 1 year, the practice of medicine was totally transformed, and everybody adapted and adopted technology, started using telehealth for providing clinical care. We started doing remote patient care monitoring. We started having virtual care visits and virtual appointments. Thereafter, to meet the urgent needs and to address the regulatory requirements, the country came out with a blueprint for National Digital Health Mission. Now, with more than almost around, to my knowledge, around almost 300,000 digital health applications, around 300 million wearable devices, it is becoming very, very critical to understand in which clinical setting, what type of technology should be implemented. So we have several questions arising out of this. We also know that to successfully incorporate digital technology into clinical practice in the future, the barriers that were jettisoned and solutions were implemented to deal with COVID-19 pandemic, there's a need to be, all those things have to be adjusted, extended, augmented, and made permanent to reflect the influence of all this on patient care, as well as on patient safety and patient experience. I'm sure we have with us Dr. Vishal Rao, who is got so many patents to his credit. I'm sure he will apprise us of his experiences of how virtual reality can be utilized for influencing patient care and patient experiences, how it can be extended and how it can be augmented. Over to you, Dr. Vishal.
Thank you, sir. I first of all would like to thank the chaotic organizing team for organizing this particular meeting. And I think it stands to fact, like Dr. Pawan sir said, that this is the time of COVID when we need to be productive. And we cannot be giving reasons of the sorts of what we are facing to be non-productive during the season. And I'm remembering after Air Marshal Kapoor sir said about a very beautiful article that came out in Harvard Business School on productivity during the time of COVID. And who are the people who readapted to it? How did they embrace technology? And how did they change the game? So this entire presentation, I think I'm going to wrap a couple of quick experiences on technological adaptations and digital transformation in healthcare. I'm going to be speaking about augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, and talking about extended reality, which is the larger umbrella that will be in the mainstream for in the next 5 years. I'm just going to give you a little introduction into this topic. I am representing HCG. We are a group of cancer centers. We are at about 26 centers across the globe, with our presence in Africa and Vietnam also. Our journey started with Dr. Ajay Kumar, our chairman, initiating the first cancer center in 1989 when he came back from MD Anderson's. And thereafter, we currently are focusing on comprehensive cancer care, which is our core strength. We have a small presence in fertility, in precision medicine, molecular biology, and pathology, and a small group of multi-specialty hospitals too. Now, I think again, like what our chairperson was speaking to, the question is, industry is today at 4.2. And what will be, why is health still at 2.0? And what are the technologies that are going to define and create the opening for health 2.0? And that is where we have 12 things that have been often spoken about that are going to define health 2.0, which will be mandatory for all of us to adopt. Digital diagnostics, IoTs, ultra-fast scanners, wearables, blockchain, digital therapy, big data, nano health, AI, hackathon, system learning, robotics. And this is what we will need to embrace in the coming years if we have to open the gates for the future and embracement of better technology adaptation for patient care. So today I'm going to talk to you about 3 of these important pillars that are going to make a difference. Virtual reality, which is about immersion in a fully digital environment. You get immersed into a digital environment. To augmented reality, which came after that, which talked about reality which is enhanced by virtual elements. And thirdly, mixed reality, which is interaction of both the real and the virtual worlds. Now, you see all 3 of them have had a distinct advancement compared to the prior one and have played an important role in the progress of understanding of this technology. The question remains between the 3 on why do we need an alternate reality? Why is it that we are searching for these 3 technologies here? What actually holds the secret to understanding this alternate reality? You know, people call this the metaverse. Like the universe, they call it the metaverse. The virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, and above all that, and what is going to evolve is all going to come under extended reality. And I'm going to bring this question up in this session to understand why is it that we need such alternate realities? Is it really needed for our patients, for us? What is the need for adopting it? I'm sure all of you here attending this program have a smartphone and are a photographer in some way. Now, just look at these 3 photos. If you stand before this bridge or before this building, it may not look so beautiful. Whereas when you take this image, it seems like it's an awe experience that takes you to another land. And that is what alternative reality is about. Sometimes to help you experience and create a special experience of what you are experiencing and enhancing it. And that can connect itself with productivity. So I think I'm trying to simplify and say that the quest for alternative reality came from experience, which came to moving and improving productivity. So one such reality was created by Facebook called Horizon. It's again a part of the metaverse that they've created, where it's a new world. Inside this world in Horizon, there are its own rules. You can see communities and collaborations from space to earthly activities being connected. A complete new universe that was created by Facebook as a part of the metaverse. Now, why am I saying so? Virtual reality check is something that we will need to do in healthcare. And time and again, this has been used in video games to create metaverses, alternate realities, to create extended realities. Is there a real need for this in healthcare? And primarily, this boils down to two important things: interactive and immersive learning that can help us absorb and retain more information, and sharing our experiences with other people in real time over long distance in healthcare. I'm just trying to sum up into a simplified way. And this will need to be useful for patients. If it is useful for patients, it will be useful for hospitals and doctors. It is most important that when we adopt technologies, we will need to understand how is it going to help improve my connect with my patients, how will it improve my service to my patients and delivery to my patients, will it help in cost reduction, improving of experiences, and overall will it improve outcomes at certain point in time. And these are going to be at the behest of cost and behavioral adaptation. So this is the reality check of the virtual world, but I'm going to, in the coming slides, tell you about what we did. And we did our own reality check at HCG with Microsoft and a couple of other groups to understand where do we stand on virtual reality, extended reality, mixed reality, and Microsoft supported us with their HoloLens. This is a small image of me interacting with my radiologist who is in his radiology room, and I'm sitting in my office, and we both are sharing the same image, understanding what the image is going to be. We are planning a surgery. Now, oftentimes it happens that I don't have time, neither he has time, but if we can both meet virtually on one table, on a single table, and that's what we did through this particular experience, where we both created a mixed reality, a reality that was interactive, a reality that wherein there was an augmented component, there was a real component, and both of them were interacting with each other, and that's what we call the extended reality gamut. Here is my colleague from Mysore, Dr. Vijay Kumar, a surgical oncologist, who wanted me to be a part of one of his surgeries to share some experiences. And Microsoft told that, well, we can bring Vishal to your OT when he's still busy in his OPD. And Vijay Kumar was not able to comprehend the idea. He said, are you sure? What can we do with this? So they got him a HoloLens, and with that, he created an extended reality where I was, if you see his finger moving, he's actually trying to talk to me and interact with me. Well, actually, I'm not around. So what was he doing? He was actually continuing to operate while he was actually also interacting with me, seeing his surgery, live relaying his surgery, at the same time recording the surgery, and all of this was happening in one environment. When he was doing so, I was interacting with him. I was sitting here in my office, and I was interacting with him to mark a circle to show, is this the recurrent laryngeal? And he was saying, yes, that's the area. And I was talking to him about some structures. We were having some good interactions during this period. Then I told him, look, I'm not comfortable seeing some of the structures. So he put me at the head end. So he had 3 assistants, and there I was in one corner of his. So this is he watching me, and this is me in the corner here. But he placed me in his vision, in the augmented reality part, as one of the 3rd assistants at the right shoulder end of the patient. And there I was as an assistant to him, sitting inside the particular structures as though watching it in millimeter distances, studying each structure and understanding some nuances. We were discussing some very interesting points. Robotics is one such area where we've adopted this, and robotics has come up in a very big way to build such an augmented reality space with a lot amount of advances. Never did we imagine that we are going to have a master slave system, that the doctor will be sitting in a corner one day and the robot will wash up. There was a time when we washed up. Today, the robots are washing up. And augmented reality has again played a very key role here in advancing it, because a robot has big eyes and small hands. We are able to reach complex places. And our 10 most important instruments are our 10 fingers, which the robots assist. Now, this is a small experience we created with one of our, I'm not able to. This is one of the small experience we created. I'm just showing this video. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not able to show this video. There's some error. But what I wanted to show with this is, at HCG, we created a simple navigation system using one of our software devices with the collaboration of a company, which created augmented reality for patient navigation. So just on his phone, it will tell him how to go to the blood bank, where to submit his blood sample. So this is HCG. He's running into the OPD, but there is no footsteps here. It's an augmented reality that is directing him on how to take him to the sample size collection area with nobody navigating. Similarly, we've been able to use it for children in terms of navigating with children as they are going through some chemotherapy, some pain medication, and the child is engaged with us through virtual reality, watching a Peppa Pig or some cartoons. This is the future where we are going to be having interactive sessions, where we're going to be seeing immersive and augmented reality with patient bedside techniques. Or during a procedure, the patient will be given a special experience, which is going to be a different type of an anesthesia, a virtual anesthesia that he will be given. This is another experience that we will be giving eventually to handicapped patients, which is already started, where these people are being rehabilitated. It's going to be a rehabilitation tool in the virtual world, where he's going to be undergoing rehabilitation in a virtual world, which is going to be much more immersive and personalized. Or interactive tools between two physicians or surgeons about 3D. Now, we were talking about 3D printing earlier. Today, we're going to be talking about a complete 4D immersion appearance, where two people with augmented reality devices are going to be in the same place discussing key points and areas. Or counselings that are going to be done for patients, where he's going to be going through a psychological counseling and experiencing a positive outcome. So this is some of the things that we will be embracing in the future. What is important is how are we going to use this technology will define if it will help us or kill us. And I think I want to close these points with a few thoughts of what we did sometime back in our robotic surgery conference, where we talked about a peak from the future, where it will be an empty hall and most people from across the world joined on augmented reality, virtual reality, and we were experiencing the surgery from within. We've also developed some XR devices on our own, which we have tried to look at for live relay of surgery. And the most important thing for us would be to differentiate artificial intelligence from natural stupidity. We cannot replace artificial intelligence with natural stupidity. We will need to define points where patients will find it useful. And I think I'm going to close with this last point, that Einstein and Rabindranath Tagore met once. And it was a very beautiful meeting where they both spoke about two different conceptions of the nature of the universe. Einstein asked Tagore whether the world could be looked at as a unity dependent on humanity, or the world as a reality independent of the human factor. And Tagore beautifully said that if not for humanity, what is the use of the world without humanity, who is not going to observe this particular world as an independent factor? And I think it's a very beautiful, important meeting. But I would like to close with one last point of the famous words from Heisenberg, who's the father of quantum physics. He said, "The first gulp from the glass of natural science will make you an atheist, but at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting for you." I think I want to close with this and thank Kaihotech for the opportunity given to share my experiences with this forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vishal, for such an lucid presentation and making complex things become very, very simpler. And I wish health goes that way, the way you have imagined it to go. And I'm very sure this virtual reality and extended reality is going to be a reality soon in practice of healthcare. So thank you very much for a very nice and very lucid and in a simplified manner. You try to tell the audience what you wanted to say. And thank you for taking us into a digital adoption in future for all of us. And you have already started towards that direction. So thank you very much.